So hey guys, how you guys been? I finally got over my cold. My throat is almost normal again. I don't cough every 10 minutes, which is great.
I think I'm getting the black lung, Bob.
I can finally talk normal again, and I have to have Chloroseptic on standby for every video. Today we're talking about Fakkhar Black. Fakhar Black. Fakhar Black by Lattafa.
Fakhar.
Let's look at the bottle first. This is a very simple black bottle. It has some texture in the back. It has this plaque in the front with this little flower, and then the same texture that's in the back is in the lid right here, and it has Lattafa right there. So let's spray. I'm putting it here so you can see the spray. Off the top, Fakhar. I'm gonna call it Fakhar. I don't know if this is pronounced correctly. So off the top, Fakhar gives me some citrus with some, frankly, some spiciness from some ginger there. So it almost becomes like it tickles the nose from that ginger. That ginger is pretty present and pretty scratchy when you smell it. That initial smell of that gingery citrusness, that kind of itchiness in your nose when you smell it, that actually stays around for quite a bit. I'm usually surprised because those initial smells usually go away between 5 and 10 minutes. But when it comes to this scent, that stays a while and then starts fading quite a bit later, 30 minutes, 40 minutes later. But what ends up happening is that other notes start joining it a little bit. What joins it is a little bit of green, a little bit of woodiness, bringing it in, and a tad bit of sweetness. Woody is the dominating note here. There's amberwood and there's cedar in here. And there's lavender and geranium. I think those 4 notes together give me like a woody green floweriness together that this is pretty much predominantly there. It feels very woody, flowery. It feels like a woody, but with a side of flowers. So like a, yeah, that's it. Like woody with a side of flowers. That's honestly the only way I can describe this kind of scent. The wood, the flowers, specifically lavender, geranium, kind of stay there throughout the experience. There's some bergamot, there's some citrus there that kind of heightens it to make it citrusy, but overall it becomes a woody experience. It's almost like you're traversing through a forest with some flower beds, and the bergamot is just like a citrusy backdrop to this. You have that wood there that it gives that base of strong masculine energy, but you have the flowers that keep it interesting. You have the geranium and the lavender that keep the scent interesting, that plays with that wood. And then to add to that experience, you have bergamot. You have that citrus that lifts it up and makes it even more interesting. So this mix of scents, this mix of different notes together, playing together, adds a beautiful mix that prevents it from being any old typical male scent, any old whatever scent. And then when you add that ginger on top, when you add that spiciness, that tickle your nose when you smell it kind of vibe, there you have like that's some magic right there. It's really pretty. It's not necessarily my vibe, but it's pretty, it's nice. I think this is trying to lean more towards the masculine side, but anybody can wear any scent. I think that's all gender BS. But I think that's definitely is trying to lean towards that masculine side, trying to lean towards that male urge, male need to be woodsy, to be in the forest, to be a hunter, gatherer kind of thing. So this is that kind of vibe, the hunter-gatherer kind of vibe. So let's talk about notes for a bit. The top notes are apple, bergamot, ginger. The middle notes are lavender, sage, juniper berries, and geranium. And then the base notes are tonka bean, amberwood, cedar, and vetiver. So that all together creates this. To me, the vibe this is giving me is like a very expensive masculine body wash, which is, it might sound bad, but honestly it isn't. You know, marketing towards men is kind of BS, right? They tried not to give men like perfumes, or not try to give men like lotions, or not try to give men things that they might deem feminine or whatever. So a lot of like the fancier stuff in terms of like smelling good for men comes from body washes, comes from things that men might not deem too feminine. So that's why I'm thinking like expensive body wash. This is like giving me that vibe, like a body wash that you would spend $40 on. This is what that's giving me, like that kind of Irish Spring, but much more expensive than that. This is what that's giving me. It's really nice. I really enjoy this scent. It's not necessarily something I would typically go for. I tend to lean towards sweeter scents, as you guys know already by this point, but it's definitely something that I would appreciate on someone else. This is something that I think smells pretty sexy on a guy and smells pretty alluring. This is like pheromones without the pheromones, you know what I mean? So on Fragrantica, this has a 4.28 out of 5 with 3,639 votes. So this is pretty popular and pretty highly rated. People, in terms of positives, they say this is a unique scent. This is affordable and luxurious. This has strong projection, and they say this is a spot-on dupe for YSL-Y. I can agree with almost everything there except the YSL-Y thing, because I don't have the dupe to compare it to. But I can say, yes, this is unique. Yes, this is affordable and luxurious. And yes, this has pretty strong projection. In terms of negative critiques for this, people say that the floral forward vibe might not be positive for everybody. Yeah, if you're not confident in yourself, you might not like how floral this is to some people. This is not a summer scent. That might be true because this projects so strongly. This might kind of put people off in summer. If you sweat a lot, if you're like a hot driver, you might kind of put people off in how strong this is. And this smells synthetic to some people. I don't think it smells that synthetic. At least I didn't pick it up, but I'm not a super sensitive person when it comes to synthetic scents. In terms of projection, this is a very strong projector. I think this projects easily 10 feet. And it stays projecting pretty much the entire experience. I think it never turned into a skin scent. This is a projecting beast. By hour 1, it started at 10 feet. Hour 4, it was like around 4 to 3 feet. And then hour 5 or 6, it basically turned into a 1 foot bubble. It never really stopped projecting, and it never really turned into a skin scent. It was really a strong projector the entire experience, and it was also very long lasting. So this is a pretty strong performer. I think in terms of performance, I would definitely give this like a 10 in longevity, 10 in performance. In terms of scent, for me, para moi, in my experience, for me, for my opinion, please don't hate me, this to me would be maybe an 8, because it's not necessarily something I would generally vibe with. Like I said, this to me is like a man's scent, leaning definitely masculine, but with a hint of florals to make it more appealing, to make it more interesting. This reminds me of that guy from TikTok, the guy who splits wood. He's very buff, he's very strong, he splits wood. People find him super handsome and whatever. He's also like a political darling, right? Like he talks about politics, he basically tries to revolutionize people. He's very smart, and that's what this reminds me of, like someone who's very, very masculine, but also has other things to make it interesting. This is the kind of scent. People probably like this. That's the vibe this is giving. I like this scent, not necessarily for me, but a lot of people would love this, obviously based on the ratings. So let me know your thoughts. Did you get this? Have you tried this? Did you like this? Remember that scents are subjective. What I like isn't necessarily what you like. Please comment, like, and subscribe. It really helps out my channel, and I really like reading your comments. I respond to almost everybody. It makes me feel like I'm talking to people, talking to you guys specifically, instead of just talking to myself. And remember to always smell your best. See ya.